Hey guys, welcome to AfterShoot. I'm Justin. I'll be your tour guide today on this revolutionary culling system. So, first thing we're going to do, we're going to open up our AfterShoot program. When you're in AfterShoot, you're going to be on your homepage. You'll be able to see your previously culled projects. You'll get some statistics about how much of your life you're getting back. You'll have your power saving mode. This will allow you to run other things while you're running AfterShoot. It will allow the cull to be slower. But it does mean that your computer will be faster. We got some tips and tricks here. And then our Facebook community, of course. Shout out to all our Facebook users. This is where you guys can be ahead of the game on anything. So if you want to get some info about what's coming up next, or if you want to give us some feedback or suggest some things that you'd like to see, that's where you would do it on our Facebook group. Anyways, so we're going to get started on culling some albums here. So we're going to click Create a New Album down in the lower right-hand corner here. Now, you can either drag and drop your folders into here, or you can go ahead and click Select a Folder if you want to just go and find it in your computer's directory, which is what I'm going to do here. We had a wedding yesterday, so we'll just we'll do that. And we're going to click Select Folder. So now what AfterShoot's going to do, it's going to import the photos. So this process happens before the culling starts. So we're going to get all of our files loaded into AfterShoot. You can click Start Culling and have it actually just start culling. You don't need to be a part of it. It'll just automatically start once all the files are imported. For now, I'm going to go over some other stuff while we got some time here. So I will click on Start Culling, and this is where we're going to find all the different ways you can control your cull. So the first one you have is the threshold for culling blurred photos. So you can have this set to lenient, moderate, or strict. Now this means that if you put it to strict, it's like nothing's going to get through that's really blurry unless it's the only one of that image. So it won't take into consideration photos that are just, out of focus, that sort of stuff. If you go to lenient, it'll take those in consideration. It may say, hey, like the smile on this one's the best, but you have motion blur, so we're going to give it that to you instead of one that's sharper. So this is where you can kind of pick those settings for that, for the blur, and then we're going to go down to our criteria for grouping duplicate photos. So the criteria for grouping duplicate photos is how we set our duplicates. So this is where we're going to figure out how big the clusters of photos are from your day. So if you click almost identical, this is going to mean that, the photos are, you want to see more images, right? So you want to see minute variations like the tilt of a chin or the turn of a head slightly. Those things, they'll be selected. Whereas if you slide it all the way to the right and you go to somewhat similar, it's going to look for major changes, right? So it's going to look for like a full head turn, not just like a chin lift or a slight head turn, that sort of stuff. So that's how you kind of get your first batch, right? And to break it down as simple as I can, you basically are going to get batches of photos that are grouped together as duplicate photos, so photos that are within a certain percentage of being similar of each other. And then what happens is we're going to look at those, open them up, and then pick out the ones that are the keepers from there. So the cool part about this setup is that everything slid all the way to the right, like I have it here, is going to give you the least amount of photos to look through from your selected images. So that, like I said, we break down into those groups of duplicates. Photos to select from the duplicate group above. So this is where we're going to pick those images. So let's say you have a duplicate group of somewhere around 20 photos. If you select less, you're going to only get like 1 or 2 in that duplicate group. If you select more, you may get like 7 or 8. So again, it's a sliding scale based on how many are grouped together within a duplicate. If you generally only really want to see like 1 out of a set, you're going to want to go with less. Next, we have the volume of sneak previews. Now, sneak previews is a cool kind of new thing that we're working on. So sneak previews is going to look at your images and compare it to images that have been posted on social media in the past that have done well. So it's going to look at those things and say, hey, this photo, something similar to this, did really well. And you may need to fine-tune them. It's just kind of trying to get you in the general direction. Sometimes you may have one that gets selected that's not quite exactly the one you'd post on it, but it's close enough to one that you would post, and we take it from there. So, now that we got all of our thresholds set, we're going to go ahead and change our stars and colors. Now, this is how AfterShoot delivers your images to your editing software. So what this means is you can choose the color of any type of image, the star rating, and you can choose to have a keyword added to the image that Lightroom has as well, so you can actually review them by keywords as well. So first, you have your selected images. Obviously, these are the images that AfterShoot selects, so the things that don't have blinks, don't have blur, that's what your selected images would be. Next down, we have the sneak previews. Again, we kind of went over that in the last batch. Those are the things that are, would typically perform well on social media platforms. And then you have your duplicates. So this is going to be images that were not selected but are the same as other images. So this would be something that, you would need to potentially toggle back to. So it's always great to have them set to like 5 and 4 stars if you're using a star system. And then you have your blurred images, which is obviously blurry images, and then your closed eyes images, which are images in which there's a blink. So once you have those set to the way you want to use them, everyone's system's a little bit different, but once you have that all set up, you're just going to click continue. And then we're back to this screen, and we're just going to go ahead and click start culling, and as soon as our photos are done importing, they will start culling.